Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look back at the 2021 Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile from Del Mar. One of the more impressive performances on the two-day Breeders' Cup program came in this race. Life is Good did not disappoint. Let's watch the start. Life is Good, the number 5. There was some questions as to whether he was fast enough to get the lead from a horse like Jasper Prince, who was the pace setter in the sprint in 2021. Irad Ortiz, he just knew he was on the best horse, and he sent.
Yeah, and he's not only on the best horse, he's on a really fast horse too. He didn't even really have to ask this horse too much. This horse just outran everybody to the early lead. He settles in up front along the backstretch here, Dan. These horses never really get to within a real threatening position of Life is Good. He's just really fast, and he never has to slow it down.
Now, the fractions are fast all during the two-day Breeders' Cup program. The track seemed to be playing that day, but Life is Good is going a good clip. One of the Japanese entrants, Jasper Prince, takes a look at him from the inside. 8 rings likely overmatched from the outside. Let's talk a little bit about the horse that was the second choice, Silver State, who's at the back of the pack. He didn't get off to a good start, and he was far behind.
Yeah, just got outrun in this race. They went a legit pace. They weren't flying up front, but they went a legit pace in this race. And Silver State just never really looked like he could keep up. He's just been taken to the outside here around the far turn, Dan. He's going to pass some horses who were going nowhere, but he never really makes any inroads into this race, and he's no threat through the stretch. I don't know what to really say about him. I like this form coming into this race. He clearly did not run his best race here.
For a brief instant at the 5/16 pole, the runner-up Ginobili made a bid to the outside of Life is Good, and he looked like for a brief second it was going to be a horse race, but Life is Good is going, gone, under wraps, under IRAD, under the wire, 109 Beyer speed figure. This is a very good horse, and we may see a mouth-watering matchup between Life is Good and Knicks Go in the Pegasus World Cup.
Yeah, it would be nice to get that kind of a matchup, one more time before Knicks Go leaves, because they not only are they both really good, but they both have, it seems like, the same running style. The more you see Life is Good run, I think the more you sort of realize maybe what we missed earlier this year, Dan. He looked like the best 3-year-old early on, didn't make the big races. Now that he's come back, he seems to have clearly stamped himself as perhaps the most talented 3-year-old this year. And it's unfortunate that he had a run in this race and not in the Classic.
Let's take a look at the order of finish for the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Life is Good wins it by 5 3/4 lengths. Ginobili, a good solid second, Mike. A horse very useful between 6.5, maybe in a mile and a 16th.
Thought he ran really well in this race. They sort of sat off the early lead a little bit when Life is Good got there and stayed out in the clear all the way. But as you pointed out when we were watching the race, he made a pretty nice run around that second turn to try to get involved. He was no match for Life is Good, but this horse ran very well in his own right.
Jasper Prince and Ping Chang, the Japanese runners, they tired near the back. Nice to see Restrained Vengeance finish a good third in here. I liked what Edwin Maldonado did. The horse didn't get off to an alert break. They took him back. They decided to make one run to get a piece, and they were rewarded with a third-place finish.
I thought this horse ran well also in here. He was a huge price. He didn't really have the form lines to make him look that competitive. But after a pretty poor start in this race, he actually carried his run a pretty long way in here. I thought he finished a good third.
Mike, could you make a case for Life is Good as champion 3-year-old? I mean, I know he did not compete in the Classic. He did not compete in the Triple Crown Series. But when he was good, he was very, very good. The only loss coming to a crack sprinter in Jackie's Warrior in the Allen Jerkins when he was returning off of a lengthy layoff.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think it's that hard of a case to make. I mean, it's not like any of the other, bigger names in the division did anything on this Breeders' Cup weekend to make you want to vote for them. We'll see. I don't think he'd be the easiest vote in the world, Dan, but he wouldn't be the hardest either. There's no real criteria for this voting. If you just want to tell me that you think he's the best horse, he ran several of the fastest races, and he showed up on the biggest weekend, I'm not arguing.
Let's take a look at the prices. Life is Good for the chalk players. $340 for Todd Pletcher. Ginobili made a good strong run on the second turn. He was second best on the day, and Restrained Vengeance was able to pick up some pieces for third. 5-3-6 in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile. Life is Good was great.